Anyway, we'll start over. Thanks everybody for being here. So we have some celebrations and some wow winners, some business items. We'll go over some safety with Amy and then some student behavior stuff that I'll do. And then Cindy and Wayne can step in if they need to. We would like to have the trip driver stay towards the end of at the end of the training today. I asked you to do that last week and then I shut down the meeting, forgot to go to that part. So we'll do that this time for sure. So we'll start with some celebrations, maybe. Um, so Amy was able to finish another CDL class a week or two ago. Sounds like a really great group of drivers and potential substitutes and route drivers, hopefully. Now Amy and Cindy and the other trainers will take on the behind the wheel part and get them ready for Wayne as the third party tester. And so lots of work goes into that, lots of preparation and just time away from home, all those things. So we really thank our trainers for all those minutes and hours and days spent doing that stuff. It means a lot and it keeps us rolling. Um, I thought our training last week on Friday with the mechanics and trainers was tremendous. They did a great job. It was engaging and got us thinking about a few things. I think part of it with most things is if you're not familiar, if you're not uh, comfortable with some things, sometimes we tend to just look the other way or not address some of that stuff because we're afraid to or we're not sure what we're looking for. So that was some great hands-on stuff that we could take along and help us in our pre-trips and different things. So it's good to get to know your bus and to keep good track of your bus and to take good care of your bus. So thanks again, guys and gals, for that training. That was really good. We were able to hire two new assistant trainers over the last few days, Caitlin Farley and Matt Crozier. Congratulations. And thanks for applying. We had a great group to choose from. We thank everybody that applied. Um, and we were looking forward to going forward and keeping the trainees on their toes and keeping them busy, getting them through the training as quick and as efficient as possible. Um, just another, I keep saying this, but I think that's one of the reasons why we have more people wanting to drive buses because the way that all of you maybe talk up the need for bus drivers. So keep thinking of your friends, someone who would do well, or maybe they don't understand how well they would do. They're afraid of kids or they're afraid of the bus, but they'd actually be really good at it. Be thinking about some of those people you're in your circles and encourage them to maybe become a bus driver. They could really make a difference in kids' lives and keep everybody safe. Um, Last bullet there, we want to thank the elementary principals and all the bus drivers who helped in the bus evacuation assembly and the drills over the last couple of months. We got those finished with all the elementaries. And also want to tell the Duchesne bus drivers, thanks again for that video. Those kids love those videos. Now, are we in our second or third year with that video? Third year, and they still love it, and they just are singing and pointing and doing all kinds of fun stuff. So it's a really good video to help them remember what's important and how safety plays a part in everything that we do. So thank you for that. Well,
Yeah.
we had we had Halloween, of course, the last couple of weeks, and we had two sightings of two Mikes and two Tobys in Altamont, and that's what this is. Anyway, we thought that was pretty good. Jesse and Quincy dressed up as Toby and Mike. It was pretty funny. So good job, you guys. You got the best costumes of the year award. Um, let's go to the wild cards. Thanks for everybody who puts in a positive comment on the wild cards. If you're new to this, we just have these cards at each bus garage, and every time that you get a chance to see or say something positive, that's what we ask. That's what we're asking for you to do, just to help build the positive culture that's already here, and just keep things on the positive side. And so, if you see someone do something that's positive, just take a moment, jot it down on the card, put it in the box, and then we do a drawing. Uh, so let's go through this. In the Altamont bus garage, Caroline got a card, said, Caroline, thanks for always being willing to sub her out. In Duchesne, in that bus garage, Matt got a card that said, thank you for driving for us at the Duchesne bus garage. In Roosevelt, Paula and Ashley were the receivers for that garage. Paula, she's always willing to give me the best advice on what to do and what to do depending on the issue. And Ashley, always positive, willing to help out when and whenever, wherever she can. And then in Tabiona, Kyle, thank you for working on bus 231 to get it up and running. And so we have uh, gift cards for those that are drawn out and the one. So I have Kyle's and Matt's here. Throw that down there to Matt, would you? And we'll deliver those other ones throughout the next few days to everybody else. So we appreciate everybody taking part in and being positive and building the positive culture. So a few business items here that we need to go through. You might have already participated in some of these. We're past November 6th and 13th, of course, but um, we have been working the last couple of years with our principals. I'm over school safety as well, and so we have implemented a plan called Standard Response Protocol, and we of course have an acronym for everything. So that's SRP, and so part of SRP are the five action items or five protocols. Can you guys in Duchesne right here, can you guys name any of those five protocols? Hold. What do you, oh, Jackie's looking at her sticker. Go ahead. Hold, secure, lock down, evacuate, and shelter. We have stickers for, I have some of those in my car. I'll go get those before I go. And we can put those, she's got them big enough. It's small enough, I guess, to go on your card that you carry on your lanyard. And so to help you remember what those are. And those are the protocols that we follow in cases of safety issues or crisis that come through. And one of those parts, when you evacuate, if we can't stay in the building, we evacuate the building and we go to a different spot where we can reunify. And sometimes we'll uh, go to that spot until the problem's taken care of, and then the police and the law enforcement will help us come back and to the school. And by the time the school day's over, we'll uh, load buses and parent pickup as usual. There will be cases, I hope not, but we got to prepare for it. There might be cases where we will load students and parents will pick up at that reunification site. And so that's what the principals have been asked to do this week. We've actually been working on it the last couple of years, and this fall it's time to practice it. And so all of our schools will be doing it. You can see the list there. Um, we haven't got two or three. I think Union and who else? The junior high. No, there's the junior high. The Learning Center with the Based Online and AIP and Adult Ed, that building. Nope, that's there on December 10th. Maybe it's just Union right now. But anyway, we're working through each school and their reunification plan. I know that I think Mrs. Harris, you guys here in Duchesne, you did one with Duchesne Elementary. And did you guys
Thursday.
on Thursday take students over? I was gone on. Yeah.
Yes.
You took them over to the county building, right? And then did you bring them back before school was over and they loaded there? Okay. Yeah, I think that was what happened with Duchesne Elementary. I know Mrs. Oman in Allamont wants to do a full-fledged drill where parents and students will be picked up at their reunification site and practice that and see how, where the buses go, where will and law enforcement park their vehicles, where's the ambulance, um, how and what, where do parents go to get their children, and just to work through all that possible confusion and chaos. And it is crazy. I've participated in a couple myself, and when you get a mad parent or a parent with anxiety about their student safety, you can only imagine some of the problems that can come. And so we want to go through that. So we thank you guys as drivers for taking the time to help us with that. Um, and it might be a full-fledged deal, or it might be a couple of grades where we walk through the new site where they're going to go to and work through some of those problems, and then bring us back to school. But just be ready and willing to work through some of that stuff. So we appreciate that. Any questions or comments on that? Okay. Yeah, trip drivers stay after for a minute. Number three there. I've had a few questions. We've talked about this last month, uh, but I've had a few questions with some clarification. So I just wanted to go over this one more time, or not one more time, enough times to make sure everybody understands. So talking about the driver or the route assignment for the number of hours that your route takes to drive and to deliver kids. Um, so most of the routes are designated as a 4 hour route, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon makes a 4 hour route, or a 5 hour route. We have a few drivers who drive some sped routes that are longer than those. And so we just kind of take it as it comes for some of those. But those route hours are paid monthly, and then they're paid at that designation. So let's say that Don here has a 4 hour route. So D has we have taken the A1, which is why the A1 report is really important. We take the A1 and we look at the hours it takes, the minutes that it takes to drive those kids, and the miles it takes, and some of those things into consideration, and also the pre-trip time and the cleaning of the bus time. And we say, okay, that needs to be a 4 hour trip. We take all that data and we decide, okay, that's a 4 hour route, or maybe it's longer at certain things, and so we'll make that one a 5 hour route. And so instead of D having to look at your purple sheet if you have your bus at home, if you park at home, or look at your clock card every day and every week and every month, he's just going to take your designated 4 or 5 hour status, and he's just going to pay you every month for that. And then if your time clock, for example, if Don drives what turns out to be maybe 10 minutes more each day or each route, so he drives, it's actually a 4 hour and 20-minute route that he's accumulating, then those 20 minutes will accumulate. And in July, they'll send Don a check for all those 20-minute days. And they'll make that difference up. If it's lower than that, then you'll get paid for what you work. And so that's how that works. But on number four there, 3-4, it says A1 reports must be updated continually to show the hour status and to organize the state report. So Deb takes all that information, and she has to make a huge report to the state, and we need to make sure that's as accurate as we can. And so if you want to change a bus stop, or if you think, hey, I can go around this way and do it better, keep the kids on the driver's or on the door side more than not, all those kinds of things, we want to look at it to make it safe for sure. I think safety is our first priority when we look at our routes, but if we can make them more efficient, and you can use your 2 hour, if you're done by 1 hour and 45 minutes each day, well, take 10 or 15 minutes, wipe your bus down, sweep your floor, get in there and wash the soap or the salt off. We're going to have salt underneath on our undercarriage a lot now and for the next few months. Get in there and wash that off and help keep our buses so we can use them as long as we can. So that's how that works. Does anybody have any questions on how that's accumulated and how that's paid to you? Um, I I'm not saying that the district is mistake prone or anything like that, but I know that some drivers are very particular. You know, they have that personality where they look at their paycheck every month or week, and they count those hours and they look at it, and sometimes there is a little bit off. And if you're like me, I don't look at that all the time. I just kind of track my 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 paycheck and see where it's at, and if there's something different, I'll ask some questions. So I know there are a lot of different personalities out there, but don't be afraid to keep track of your hours and to keep track of your pay and see where it's going, and to um, make it so that you know, if you have any questions, you can talk to Mary Kay or Dee about that, and they're willing to address those things with you. So if you need me to help facilitate a meeting with them about your pay, let me know and we can work that through. So
Mike, can I just make a comment?
yes, go ahead.
So as trainers, one of the things that we're going to start doing, and Amy may bring this up, we're going to start doing our driver appraisals again. We haven't done that for a while. So part of that appraisal is making sure that your route is being done efficiently. If you're contracted for a 5-hour route or a 4-hour route, that is something else that we're looking at. And so if your route is way longer than that, then there may be some things that, you know, as trainers we can do to help make that route a little more efficient as well.
Thank you. And will you do that as you go through the what process are you using to check the routes to get?
Well, we will drive when we do our driver appraisals. We will actually drive with the driver. And now that we have more trainers, we'll be able to go through that list a little more efficiently than we've been able to do in the past. But that is one of the things that we're looking at is, you know, if you're contracted 4 hours and your route is going 5 hours, then what can we do to make that better? Or do we need to change, you know, contracts or something like that? But they've been contracted for that time allowance for a reason. And so if we're going over those 5 hours or whatever, then we need to look at that and see if there's some things we can do to make it more efficient.
Perfect. That sounds great. I know, you know, there's always this that I'm mostly it's me. I'm talking out of this side of my mouth saying build relationships, take the time to know your students, you know, get to know their names, where they're seating, give them a seating assignment, be in charge, you know, do that, take some time. That takes a lot of time and effort to know your students, right, who are on your bus. And then now it kind of might seem like, hey, let's get the route going, you know, let's be efficient and and you know, don't speed or don't be unsafe, but let's keep things rolling. Let's be on a schedule. Um, maybe there are times when there's this what's the word? This a parent or some grandmother or someone who constantly is always 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes late, and you're waiting for them. Maybe we need to talk about that, and maybe we need to make those phone calls and talk to those parents or those grandparents and say, hey, we're on a schedules. We can't sit here for, you know, more than, you know, a minute, maybe probably. I most of the time I know most of our drivers aren't even, you know, stopping. They're stopping maybe, but they're not waiting if the kids aren't there. And that's basically how we want to be, because if you just drive past at 55 miles an hour and you do that 5 times, now you're 5 minutes early, and now everybody else might be, you know, now you're making everybody else miss the bus because you're the one, you're the problem as the driver. So I think it's important to probably stop, you know, take that time just to keep you so that you're on track as the bus driver. You're not getting ahead of the schedule. But yeah, if they're not there, uh, we don't need to wait for them too long because we have a schedule to maintain, and I think it's important to be professional that way. I know that when my mom let me sleep in, what did I do? I slept in. And if my mom made me get up, or my dad, when I heard his whistle coming down the hall to my room, I knew that I needed to get up and start, you know, getting dressed and get going. Or there would be consequences. I'd have to either walk to where I was going or whatever. And so, you know, we do need to be efficient. We need to set that that tone of that we're a professional organization. And even though we want to build relationships and be nice and courteous and all that stuff, we do have to maintain the schedule. So all this is part of making our route efficient and our A1 routes and those reports more efficient and true. So we thank you guys for doing that. The last one there on number 4, there will not be a safety meeting in December. It's kind of a shorter month. We had the one last week at as a group, and now this one, so we won't worry about one in December. Okay, let's hand it over to Amy.
Right.
Can you?
I just want to make sure that you guys sign a roll for your part today.
Okay, stop right there. Can you guys hear Amy? You might have to do it from back here. I don't know.
Yeah,
Are they listening?
Hi, guys. I just want to make sure that everybody is signing the roll for the safety meeting so that you guys will get credit for that. And then along the lines of credit, you will be getting a mechanic in-service certificate. So be looking for that in your mailbox at your bus garage. And that will show how many credits you get for that. Just to back up what Cindy was saying, we are going to have your ride-along appraisals will start. We're going to try to get them done before the end of year evaluations with Mr. Ross so that he has another tool to kind of see how things are going. I am asking the trainers to pull your A1 and make a copy. And so that will be going along with them on the A1 just to double check that the layovers aren't too long, that we've got we're doing a good job at our turnarounds, backing up in a safe place, that we're just being as efficient as we can with our route. So it'll not only be a way to like see safety things that maybe need to be worked on, but we can also double check the routes at the same time. And so it's not to cause, we're not trying to find fault or be hard on people. We just want to make sure that everything is going good for you guys, and it's a good time to check on that. All right, so yeah, it's asked for by the state as well. So what I want to talk to you guys about today, I won't try to take too long, but we have winter weather coming, and I want to talk to you about defensive driving in winter conditions. So number one, just slow down, reduce your speed, make sure that you're giving yourself some room. Your stopping distance needs to be greater. So an example would be at 30 miles an hour, your bus is covering 44 feet per second, just going 30 miles an hour. And then you add in your reaction time plus braking, you've now covered 78 feet per second. So twice of your bus length, just going 30 miles an hour in good conditions. So that being said, give yourself a little more space when the roads start getting slick here pretty quick. Watch your sudden stopping and sudden quick maneuvers. You don't want to do that. You want to avoid those. You need to double or triple your following distance when the conditions ask for that. Like if you are on ice, you want to double that. Instead of 4-second rule, maybe go to 8. And then if it's fog, you're going to add more following distance in there. And then accelerate slowly when you're leaving a stop or you're coming at an intersection. Just accelerate slowly so that you aren't spinning out. And then one thing to watch for to be defensive is sometimes people will get behind a big vehicle because they feel like, oh, they're gonna push deer, or they're making it safe, so I'm gonna get behind this bus. So just watch for people that might be tailgating you and increase your following distance there as well. So if they do decide to come around you, because now you're going slower, there's room for that. Try to recognize black ice and accommodate for those conditions. Black ice is just clear frozen water on the pavement. Very dangerous. Sometimes that can happen. Watch your bridges. They could get icy first or have standing water on it that freezes overnight. So just watch your bridges. We need to be driving with our headlights on. Headlights are required. And then just remember in fog to use your low beams. If your bus has the strobe, you'll use that then. Another reminder is counting your students away in icy conditions. That's really important. If you see 5 kids go down your steps in your mirrors and looking around as they've gotten off, make sure you have 5. They could slide under the bus so easy if it's slick right there on the roadway next to the bus stop. So just be watching for that. And then count them as they're coming as well. And then I wanted to remind you guys that we probably will be starting our fuel treatments pretty soon. I would like you to check with your mechanics at your garages. I asked Kyle and he said, yes, we'll go ahead and start over here because the temperatures are getting lower at night. If you're parking at your homes, be plugging your bus in so that you don't have any problem with getting them going. And with your pre-trip, just remember that to be checking those wiper blades, your defrosters, your heaters, your tire pressure. They need to be between 95 and 100. And we want to keep that fuel half or above. And if you have any troubles with your turnarounds at stops, let your garage coordinator know so they can get with maintenance to have those areas plowed for you guys. Okay, I have a couple videos here.
911, what's the location of your emergency? Highway 64 going west. We're in a school bus and headed down the power line that we are attached to, full of kids.
It was a Monday morning in April. It was a very wet snow spring storm. It was the heaviest snow I'd seen in a long time. We had outages all over the upper half of our system, so we had crews running all kinds of different races. We had a Future Farmers of America competition at Colorado Northwestern Community College in Rangeley, and we loaded the bus and we headed west. We got about 7 miles west of town when it comes to a flash, noticing that the snow had fallen off of one of the power lines. It bounced from the loss of all that weight, and the school bus caught the ground wire.
I didn't know what it was at first. I saw 2, maybe 3 bursts of fire, and then it ricocheted in front of our school bus. At that point, I knew we were in pretty big trouble.
It was an unmistakable sound when wire is leaving a roll at an inordinate amount of speed, and we started dragging power lines for the next at least 100 yards. My first thought was the bus will either slow down on its own or the power lines will stop us. I did not hit the brakes because I wasn't sure if I had a charge from the power lines going through the bus or not. So I just let it coast to a stop.
After seeing all the fire vehicle that has gasoline and things like that, I really didn't want to witness my worst judging family and friends in a really terrible accident.
That's kind of the ultimate nightmare for utility people, especially a school bus with children in it. We had everybody remain on the bus, sit down and not touch anything until emergency vehicles, White River Electric, the sheriff's, and the EMTs all came.
They know to tell people not to get out of the vehicle because that could create that circuit and seriously injure or kill somebody.
Well, you can never assume that a wire has or doesn't have electricity in it because you can't see it. It travels at the speed of light and approaching temperature of the sun. So it's extremely destructive, and avoidance is probably the best defense.
Once White River Electric made the scene safe, and we were able to get the bus out of the power lines and get them pulled offside the road, emergency crews went in, checked all the kids, and made sure everybody was safe.
A very dangerous situation was avoided because the correct steps were taken. People were patient, people communicated, and help was there immediately.
Everybody did everything right. Clint knew not to leave the bus. It was just a good job all the way around. We're a small community. We share information amongst everybody. It's important that White River Electric and all other electric companies and co-ops continue to keep that safety message going out to them.
I don't know if it's satisfying. You're just very relieved. You know, you just you dodged a big bullet. It was one of those wrong place at the wrong time type of deal. So, but we were told to get back on the bus, and we went on down to CNCC and competed, and some of the kids got their name called and ended up having a good day.
Alrighty, so just a couple tips on that one. Power lines here could be affected. We have the freezing fog, and with some of our snow accumulation we've had a few years, we can get a lot of snow that could cause a down power line. So just some reminders, keep the kids on the bus, stay calm. Unless your bus is on fire, then you'll need to evacuate, and to do that, you'll need to jump away with both feet. And then just stay put until you are told that the danger has passed and the power companies have come in. Alrighty, so here's another one.
And some parents are worried about how schools call snow days after a couple buses got stuck during the most recent storm. A plow came to help one bus stuck in the snow near Petersboro Tuesday morning. Now, this is the second bus this week to get stuck. Some parents now worrying the school district isn't acting quickly enough to cancel classes. The school district telling us the transportation director stays in constant contact with road crews during active weather to make the best decisions. They say parents have the ultimate say in keeping their kids home due to the weather, which is what one woman did after the bus got stuck near her home.
I think the plows do a pretty good job of keeping up. But the road off the highway blows over with drifts, and you know, it can become a whiteout. You can't see where you're going.
All right, the district telling us that 9 students were on the bus when it got stuck, and students were taken safely to school by the principal. Coming up tonight.
All right, so the reminder on that one is that our district administrators, Mr. Ross and Deb and superintendent, will get that information from the county road. And then that information will come from the office, the district office, down to us. And we would let you guys know if there's going to be a delayed start school day or if there's special information we need to know about. Otherwise, just plan on doing your route, and you don't need to radio in that it's bad conditions, because it's going to be bad conditions for everyone. Just do your best, slow down, and get the kids there as safely as possible. Alrighty, so here's another one.
Driving a school bus on snow and ice requires a specific set of skills. During the course of this video, we will demonstrate these skills. It's our goal that the demonstrations in this video will add to the knowledge that bus drivers will need when driving in winter conditions. We would like to also mention that whenever there is a difference between the skills that we are teaching and the policies of your school district, please defer to your district. Each school district has the responsibility to set up the rules that bus drivers must follow. The safety of any school bus begins before the driver leaves the bus yard. Let's take a look at some of the preparations. A good starting place is to check on the weather. The chances are that your transportation office will give you a heads up early each morning on existing weather conditions. Remember, just because you leave the yard on a bright sunny day doesn't guarantee that you won't encounter rain, snow, or ice. Always be prepared for changing weather conditions. Because weather conditions can go from mild to severe on any given day, it's important to always bring along additional winter weather gear. Here is a checklist of winter clothing and equipment that you may want to consider. Another important part of preparation is the winter pre-trip inspection. Here are some important tips to keep in mind. Let's start with the tires. Under normal conditions, these tires are completely safe. However, when driving on roads covered with ice or snow, they will not be able to provide the traction that is needed. That is why you must always have chains available. Chains can grip either ice or snow much better than just tires. Besides carrying chains, make sure to carry a shovel, a broom, tire stretchers, and a camlock wrench. Continue checking tires to make sure lug nuts are secure, air pressure is okay, and the tire tread is not worn down. Next, check to make sure the wiper blades are free of cracks and are in good working condition. Also, check lights and reflectors to make certain they aren't covered by debris. Also, check windows and mirrors to make sure they are clear and visible. And make sure the strobe light is in good working condition. There are several other important items to check out. Check the engine compartment coolant levels. Check the battery and make sure it's free of corrosion. Test the heater to make sure it's working, and also check the fan to see that it's running properly. Check to make sure your fuel gauge is on full. Do a radio check with dispatch. And if you're going on a field trip, make sure you have an itinerary as well as a working and charged cell phone. Another good idea is to have a contact name if you are traveling to a district in another area.
Alrighty, so again, that just reinforces the pre-trip importance. And if you have a bus with tire chains, make sure that you're dropping those and making sure that they're working okay before you head out so that you know that that has been gone through. And it's real important to have a clean windshield and make sure that you're getting rid of that salt and grime that could be on there. Alrighty, I don't know if this one was taken at Ben's house or Russ's or Paula's, but
See if we can get this light
let's
on.
take a look there.
All right, here. Ah, perfect. Okay, so this is the bus. I came to this just now. Can't really make out the front of it. And that's what the bus looks like. It looks like it snowed in pretty good. So we'll see how it works. Okay, so it looks like it's doing halfway decently here. See if I can get the rest of it out. We'll see.
So just a reminder, if you have any areas that need plowed, even at your home where your bus is parked, just reach out for maintenance and they can help you so that there isn't a big berm of snow that you're trying to plow through to get your bus out. This next one is pretty short.
But when the cargo those buses are carrying is your child, you want to make sure the drivers are trained for these conditions. Newsflash John London getting us answers about the precautions they take. Joins us live. John?
Yeah, Jack, talk about taking advantage of weather conditions. There was training going on out here of bus drivers, even as these buses were picking up students along their regular routes. On a snowy school day like today, there's a rule of thumb for those with their hands on the wheels of responsibility.
Give yourself a space cushion.
Belinda Johnson's guiding principle is the mantra of school bus drivers, particularly in icy and slippery conditions.
We seem to do better in this type of weather. They're more focused.
Keeping plenty of open area between school buses and other vehicles is part of the more than 50 hours of training for 460 drivers at First Student.
You want to keep traffic from the side of this. You get a lot of traffic bunched up on the side of you. We encourage them to, ease back a little to keep it open.
Training is almost a constant, really. The post-route routine you see here wraps up a morning of practice runs with no simulation necessary.
Handy for us to have this kind of weather right now for that fact.
Drivers don't always know at the start of this kind of day if schools will alter their dismissal times or not, especially with small cargo involved. There are no snap decisions about it.
If we know a child is going to a home and there's nobody there, we'll take them back and then rearrange later for transportation home.
In some areas, extra shovel and salt treatment on iffy roads is a mere radio call away.
I've been driving for a long time, so I just drive slow, whether it be a bus or my car. I just take it easy,
Yeah, take it easy. And there are three other words they live by when it comes to training. Take the opportunity. They want to get those new and not as seasoned drivers out there in conditions like this for training purposes. And they did that today. Reporting live in Elmwood Place, John London, News 5.
Righty, and that is the last video that wraps it up. But just a reminder of the space cushion, and just you guys are amazing, and we have a really good team here that does their best to help keep our kids safe. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Amy, for presenting that for us. It's the winter weather's coming up and we can feel it this morning and over the weekend for sure. So we appreciate those reminders. There's lots to be aware of when the snow and the ice are out there. So let's be careful, and like the driver in the video said, let's just slow down a little bit and make sure everybody's good and safe. Just wanted to hit the protocol for safety one more time with you. As we spoke earlier, SRP stands for Standard Response Protocol. This is a program developed by one of the fathers of a student who was shot by a shooter in one of the Colorado shootings maybe about 20 years ago. And they've developed this protocol, as we talked about the 5 protocol: hold, secure, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter. A couple of years ago, I wrote these guys and asked if they had a bus curriculum, and they said they were working on it, but I have not reached back. So Amy and I were talking about that over the weekend, so I'm going to do that, and so that our buses can tie in with our schools with this same protocol. It's actually been adopted by the Utah legislature as the curriculum that all of our schools are using, so that all of our law enforcement and our safety protocols are all the same for all the schools. And so we'll just piggyback with all that on our bus stuff as well. So be looking forward to some of that training. Just to review how we were able to use this and to how it was utilized the other day at Union High School. We had a group of girls. There were 3 girls that came in. I was actually at Union meeting with some parents and students and with their principals. And as I got a text from Cindy just as I was finishing up. And so I thought, oh, I'll just finish up and I'll call her or I'll read it. So as I stood up and walked out the meeting, I started to look at the text, and three of the girls that Cindy was talking about in her text had a report that some kids at Union High School's parking lot had guns in their cars, and they were pointing them out the window. And so we hurried and got some information from them. Looked at the cameras. We were considering what we should do. Now, this was about 10 minutes after school got out when Cindy texted me, and about 15 minutes by the time I looked at it, and those girls were with me talking about it. And so in Roosevelt, that means that the junior high has already been picked up for the most part, except for Neola and Mighton. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go out in the back and Principal Felder, if you'll check the film, be ready to address one of our protocols, whether it's a lockdown or a secure. A secure would be where you bring everybody into the building and lock the doors on the outside. A lockdown would be where you lock the doors and keep everybody inside where they're at. And so we were starting to think about that. I just wanted to get out to the buses to make sure that that car that was identified by those 3 students wasn't out there doing whatever they were doing. And so by the time I got out there, I got a text from the principal saying that vehicle had left campus. They could see it leaving. So that was good. One of the kids, to make a long story short, one of the 2 boys that were reported to be in the car, they had a .22 rifle and they had a airsoft pistol. And one of the boys' little brother was still waiting for the bus, and I know them from before when I was at the junior high. So I went over and I talked to the brother, and I said, "Hey, where's your brother at?" And he's like, "I don't know." I said, "Is he riding the bus home?" And he says, "I don't know." And I go, "Can you call him and see if he's coming?" And that was all I said. And so he got on his phone. He texted the brother, and the brother said, "I'm off I'm not at school." And I said, "Well, can you see where he's at?" And he wouldn't tell me where he was at. The brother didn't tell me, or the brother didn't tell the brother to tell me. And I said, "Well, okay, just see if you can get him to answer." And so the next thing I know, maybe a minute goes by and he comes over and says, he's coming back to the school. And I said, "Oh," I said, "Okay." And so at that point, because we still had kids waiting outside to get on the bus, there were a few kids and parents loading still in the front, kind of just the later ones. And so we decided to put the school in secure. So we told all the students that were waiting for the final buses to hustle into the school. We locked the doors. We kept them inside, and that's what we did for that. In the meantime, I called Deb at the office, and I said, "Please go over the radio, tell the drivers that are still coming to Union to pick up students to hold where they're at, perhaps maybe at the 4-way stop where those semi-trailer Quonset things are held on the parking lot there, and they can just stay there." And maybe some of you heard that announcement go out that day. And so that worked great. And as usual, stuff does, things hardly ever go as planned or how you want. And about that time, here comes a bus coming around the back parking lot into Union High School. And it's Paula. I'm Paula. I'm not hopefully I'm not making you look in a bad light. Paula's radio wasn't working that day. And so she pulls up, there's nobody there, but I'm there, and I run out to the bus and I go, "Hey, is your radio working?" She goes, "No, it's not working." I said, "Okay, we need you to go back to the other side of the campus. There's a couple of buses there that are waiting. Go back and wait with them and then listen to them and their radio, and you'll get further directions." So she hurried and got back in and was great and went back over there. And probably within 5 to 10 minutes, we had it figured out. The mom had picked up the boy and had brought him into the office. And so we lifted the secure protocol. The buses came in and picked up the kids, and like within 3 or 4 minutes, everybody was on the bus and gone. We also had to call Uinta High School or the Uinta School District because they have 2 buses that come from Uinta side, and they pick up those Uinta County kids that come to Union. So we told them to hold off campus to stay off campus until further notice, and that worked out really well as well. So we were able to get some of those protocols and practice them in a real situation without anybody getting hurt, and that was just an example. We also had a situation at Mighton where the 2 schools needed to we went over that pretty well with the principals and our safety people involved, and there's some work to do with some of that when you have 2 schools together and maybe one school's not being threatened as much as the other one. How do we work that, and how do we keep kids safe? So it was been an interesting couple of weeks where we got to work on some of these safety drills slash real incidents where there was a threat to the school. And so I'm glad that we have our SRP program, and I'm excited to find out the bus part of it and get that implemented so that we know what we're doing as well. While I was just thinking about that, we updated in the schools, we updated our emergency manuals. If you can remember, if you're an older driver, if you've gone through your bus, how many of you, like I'm just here in Duchesne, but how many of you know what that emergency manual looks like, and is there one on your bus? And what we did is we took that emergency manual, we changed out the old, and we implemented with new pages the SRP stuff where the old was. And so we've done that for the schools. So that's my plan, is to take those our transportation emergency manuals. I've seen them on our buses, but we haven't addressed it since I've been here. And so that's probably the place where we want to start with our SRP training and get those manuals updated, and then we work through all that stuff. And so we've got some work to do there, but it's an exciting thing. I really feel good about where we're going with our school safety, our bus safety. We had a hostage training a year or 2 ago, which I thought was really good. I know that there's been some talk over the last few months and a year or so that we want to do one massive training at a school where we have incidents at the school, bus drivers are involved, or we have a bus driver, a bus accident or incident somewhere, and how we respond as a transportation team, and just practice some of those things too. So look forward to some of those things happening in the next few months. But I wanted to just briefly hit the behavior documentation, but the basic thing on this is that don't be afraid. We leave it to you as drivers to work with your students. And when I say work with students, that's building the relationships, making sure they know the expectations, they understand the rules of the bus. They are given a chance or two to conform to what you're asking them to do, especially when it comes to safety, but not too many more chances, because it is safety. And so when we get to that point where they are not listening and they become a safety hazard, we want you to use those documentation forms to document that. After you've tried a couple of times, you've made some contact with the parents, there's some different things you can do. Get with your coordinator, get with me, and then I meet with parents or with the students or both, and we decide if we need to have them off the bus for a while, or to give them a little bit of a reminder that, hey, it's not a right to ride the bus, it's a privilege. And if you're going to not be safe and put others at risk, then we'll have your parents drive you. And parents are busy. They're usually pretty supportive of what we're trying to do there. And so, like I said, work with these kids, do your best to ask them to help you be safe and keep the bus safe. But when you get that feeling in your gut that says, I'm not able to influence this kid like I need to right now, then get everybody else that's there involved. Get Amy here in Duchesne and all your coordinators and myself, get us involved, and let us help you either remove that student or get that student in a place where they can ride the bus. So that's what I wanted to mention there. So don't be afraid to use those documents when you feel that feeling. Okay, I think that's all we had for the regular safety meeting. Let's take about 15 or 20 seconds and let everybody get up and go if they need to. But if you're a trip driver, please stay for a second. And Ashley and Caitlin, if Caitlin's there, Ashley would like you to kind of get ready to give us a little bit of a report there, what we spoke about earlier. So I'll be back in about 15 or 20 seconds. Thanks, everybody. Okay. If you're a route driver and you might be thinking about being a trip driver in the future, you're sure welcome to stay. Just didn't want you to stay if you didn't want to. So you're welcome to stay if you want to. I wanted to just go over kind of where we want to what we want to do and where we want to go with our trip drivers. In the last couple of years, the district's been really good. We've been able to buy a program or a curriculum called Samsara. And what that does, it's a GPS system. On the weekends in the past, Amy and Cindy and Wayne and the mechanics, Devin and Kyle, uh, uh, Darren and Tabiona, everybody that's kind of in a leadership position in the past would kind of just at least I would sit in my house. I'd be watching TV or something late at night, wondering how everybody was doing coming home from their trips on the Saturday, or on a Friday, and not quite understanding or knowing everything. And then, no news is good news kind of thing. I didn't hear anything that was bad or any collisions or wrecks or anything. So everything must have went fine. With Samsara, I have a chance to have a GPS location through that program, and I can look on my computer on my phone and I can see where the bus is, who the driver is, where they are on I-15, and I can see exactly where everybody is. And uh, it's a great feeling of peace of mind for me anyway, that I can see where our drivers are and where everybody is, even if it's a trip to Vernal or to Tabiona, or from Tabiona to Roosevelt or whatever. We can see where these buses are. We basically have our Samsara uh, application on most of our trip buses, so we can see that. Another cool feature, there's several cool features, but the one I wanted to hit, of one of the features that I wanted to hit was to have Ashley. Her and Caitlin have kind of taken this program to the next level, I would say, without having been asked to, or wondering if what it is. And you can actually, as a district, we've asked, and Wayne's kind of been the head of this, is the technology side of it. You can take things like following distance, use of cell phone, speed, some of those things, and you can put some parameters into the program, whatever we want to be what we would deem to be safe for a following distance. We can put that measurement inside the requirement of that part. And so if the bus is always following too close, or if it's following too close for a certain amount of seconds, then it'll mark that, and it'll put it on a record page of safety, and we can see where that happened and how often that happened if the bus driver was driving too close of a distance for a certain amount of time. We can check speed records. We can do brake checks. What were some other things that we were thinking about? Oh yeah, seatbelt use and cell phone use. We can check all those things, and just basic things that you're already doing. But instead of using it as a gotcha, hey, um, you know, Amy, we saw that you didn't have your seatbelt on 15 times this last time. You're suspended. That's not what we're using it for. We want to use it for to encourage safe driving, and we don't have enough funds right now to purchase it for every one of our buses. That is the goal in the future, and maybe every other year, every 2 years, we can purchase some more as we save a little money and put it towards that. But We want to have that ability to have this program on all of our buses. And so what Ashley and Caitlin are doing is there's a feature in this program where you can earn points for safety. And so we want to kind of go over some of that, how that works. Ashley's going to show you or talk to you about the app itself. You can download the app on your phone, and you can kind of track your own driving in a positive way that will help you understand where the parameters are and what you need to do to maybe be a little bit more safe. There are times, I know that there are going to be times when you need to use your cell phone on your route, but we would ask you to pull off and stop the bus and then use it there. Pull off in a soft place or a safe place. Not to use your phone when you're driving, of course. Some of those things, those are basic safety things that we would expect you to be doing. And so anyway, Ashley, if you got a second, and if Caitlin's there, the two of you help us to kind of tell us what you've done and how you've gone about looking through the app. And really what we're asking you to do, drivers, is to take what these two say and to start using it and looking at it, sign in and get it part of your drivers and check your driving and see how you're doing. And then we'll be able to kind of go from there. But if Ashley and Caitlin can take it from here, I'd appreciate it.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, Wayne's just trying to find the demo on how to download it on your phone.
Okay.
It's just called Samsara Fleet, and it's on Apple iTunes or Google Play Store.
But all we do is just log in and we can see, it gives you a rating, like at 100% or you're at 98 or 99. I personally just look at it to see if I've been dinged for any of like speeding or following too close, slamming on your brake. It'll just give you, it takes away so many points per incident. And my goal is just to stay at 100%, which I have. I'm at 100 still. Go get this one, so I'm not at anything. But so if you have like heavy speeding is over 7 miles, and it's like if you're over 7 miles for so long at a certain amount of seconds, it'll ding you continuously. Moderate is like 5 to 6 miles over, and then severe is anything over 7 miles.
So I know that in my car, when I pass even on a double lane, sometimes I will, if the speed limit is 65, right, I might get up to 72 or 73 to get past the car that I'm trying to pass. And then I'll come back to, the speed limit. Is that also taken into consideration when you pass on a speed?
I would think so. I think, but it's like if you're going more than like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 10 seconds. I've tried to see, just to see how many seconds, and I don't remember what it said. It was.
Amy's got a question for you. What is the fleet ID?
DCSD.
DCSD.
DCSD. Okay. And then you create your own username for yourself?
Yes. Right?
I think it's your email.
Yeah, I think it's just your email.
Janny, did you have a question? Maybe we can, Ashley, would you guys have time to put together a quick tutorial for this and send it out just in case?
Yeah. With phone you can do it. It's not.
No big deal.
So yeah, the fleet ID is DCSD. And then I think just the login is just your district email address. And then you create a password.
Mike?
Yeah.
So with checking this and looking at this, and we've talked about it, the bus has to be assigned to a driver, correct?
No.
No, they can actually sign into that bus using the Samsara app.
When you
So
go,
like if someone is going to take a trip that night on 240, they can sign into it, Wayne, and then put their name in as the driver or what?
once they get into the app, there is a button that says assets. If you click on that, it'll pull up the list of the trip buses that have the Samsara for your garage. And then they can just click on like 250, and then all of that drive time will be with that driver. And then when they get back that night, just leave that asset so that somebody's not getting dinged for Mike Foy driving.
Right. Because see, none of our trip buses aren't assigned to drivers, you know.
Yeah, so if you just make sure that when they're in the app that they go through the assets and accept and leave the assets, then they won't get dinged for other people's driving habits.
Okay. Thank you, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
Good questions. And today, we're not going to delve into it real deep or worry about it too much, but I just wanted to give you a chance over the next little bit here. Of course, we won't meet till January, I guess, but take a few minutes and play around with that app, and when you go on a trip or even on your route, you could probably check your driving and see how it went. And so that's what it was to do, is just to give you a chance to log in, get set up, and then play with it for a few weeks right here, and see what you think, and then give us some feedback and see what you think. I know that talking to Ashley and Caitlin, they kind of made it a little bit of a competition. Hey, I got 99 points. Where are you at? 99.5 or something. And so that's the kind of attitude I want us to take it for, is to try to be more safe for the right reasons, not to get dinged or to get fired or something like that. So
I know a lot of companies too have taken and done like a quarterly thing. They do like a driver poll or driver buy-in. So every quarter they take like the top 5 of their drivers and they get like a safe driving bonus or a little prize or something every quarter, which I know Brent Goff's done that a couple times and it's been fun for the drivers.
yes, yeah, we talked about that as well.
Mike, this is this Samsara is a pretty cool little thing. You know,
it's fun to play with and watch.
It is pretty fun to watch. You know, like Mike said, as garage coordinators or transportation supervisor, I can click on there and look and see where the buses are, you know, and then there's video, and I mean, it's pretty neat. And I think it does 10 times more than what I even understand, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little thing for the district to have purchased for us.
Well, and say like if you start going down in your percentage average, if you click on, there's a thing that says coaching, and it will actually give you advice, kind of what it's wanting, like why you're getting these too. So it's a really cool thing. I enjoy looking at it because like right now I'm 18 hours from hitting a 50-hour milestone of my safety speed. And that was my goal at the first of the year, is not to do more than 5 over, because I am a lead foot. But now this will definitely, it makes me stay down.
Yeah. Good points. Good stuff. Thanks, you guys. I didn't want to take too long on it. I just wanted to throw that out there. Go ahead and get the app and give it a try, play with it, and see what you think. And maybe in January we'll go kind of check back in and see where we're at. But yeah, appreciate you, Caitlin and Ashley, and Wayne getting that set up to talk about for us, taking some time to help us know what that's about. But yeah, talking about the program, like Gina said, it's got a lot of features, and we really want to use it for the safety things and to reward drivers for their awareness and their their attempts to maintain safe driving. Okay, any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of the week and Thanksgiving and Christmas if we don't get to see you all together, but thanks for all that you do. We'll see you.
See ya.
Hi, trouble.